I am your host, Joe Johnson, owner of PurplePTSD.com, VikingsTerritory.com, and PurpleTerritoryRadio.com. Uh, I think this pipe I bought as a joke will sum up my feelings on the first half of Vikings Bears. I actually don't smoke weed, but I will start smoking crack if we lose this game. Just a heads up. Really quickly, we are sponsoring a Grey Duck vodka tasting at McDonald's Liquor on Friday. It's also going to be a bottle signing. Chad Greenway will be there autographing bottles of Grey Duck vodka, and one item per person. It is free to go. There will be a silent auction courtesy of Total Sports Enterprises. You can pick up some really, really cool Viking stuff. If I could show you my background, a lot of it is either from McDonald's Liquor or this. You can kind of see is Stephon Diggs during the Minneapolis/Minnesota Miracle. Autographed. I got that from Total Sports in a silent auction. So definitely stop by on Friday. It starts at 5 p.m. It's at McDonald's Liquor, which is on 34th Avenue in South Minneapolis, 51st and 34th. If you're familiar with Lake Nokomis or the Minnehaha Falls or the light rail stop on 50th, it's like 4 blocks from there. Should be pretty fun. Anyway, the first half sucked. Some of the play calling from Stefanski reminded me of DiFilippo or Stefanski last year. I know Josh Klein is hurt, and he was a big part of opening holes. But if you're going to, what's the definition of insanity? Continuing to do the same thing and expecting a different result. I know that doesn't actually apply here, like as it was meant, because there's too many variables in football for that to be true. But stop running it up the middle is my point. On paper, I guess Cousins' stats look okay. He overthrew Thielen when he was open down the field, which would have been huge. But, you see Trubisky go out with what was described as a severe or whatever shoulder injury. You think, all right, well, thank God. This will be an easy game for us to win. That hasn't been the case. Somebody came into our live chat, which will be running in the second half, obviously, and said, why is it that the Bears' offense has struggled, yet when they play the Vikings, their mediocre tight end or wide receivers are making all these acrobatic and amazing catches? I don't get it. I don't know why that happens to us. But the fact is that they need to make some adjustments this in halftime and shut Chase Daniels down. Now, I know it's really hard when you study all week and game plan for Trubisky, and all of a sudden Chase Daniels is out there and he's a completely different guy. You want Trubisky to stay in the pocket and throw, not run. Now you need Chase Daniels to get pressured to run and not stand in the pocket. I think if they need to blitz more in the second half. They need to send more than 4 people. I'm not sure what's wrong with Danielle Hunter. I did see that he was obviously in the tent, but hopefully he'll be available in the second half. I didn't hear what happened there, so I'm sorry about that. But yeah, they need to pressure Chase Daniels. They've gotten bailed out with some flags. This game is like the perfect example of overregulation in the flag department, though, man. There's been so many flags. So the NFL should, it's kind of turning into baseball, and baseball's trying to turn it into the NFL, coincidentally. But yeah, man, 8 rushes for 15 yards is a sub 2 yard per average, or 2 yard per run average for Cook. They need to find different ways to get him the ball. Dump off passes, screens, that sort of thing. I do not agree that and I'm sure none of you do, that was a complete pass to Diggs, and therefore an interception. But yeah, it is what it is, I guess. I don't know. This game is really, if we lose this game, it's going to break me emotionally and mentally. They need to win this game. With the Packers losing, with the Lions losing their first game today, it's a huge opportunity for this team to put the Bears behind, to well, they don't have the tiebreaker, but to be tied for the first spot in the division outside of The Lions, how would that work? But yeah, you're right. Yearn Demeen. There hasn't been any pressure, and that needs to change. Akeem Hicks isn't playing on the other side of it. So there goes their interior pressure. So hopefully, Linval will have a big second half. Everson Griffin on the outside. Am I a Viking? Or yeah, I would say ethnically, I'm pretty much Swedish and Norwegian. With some Irish thrown in there for flavor. And in regards to Dominic, I'm not making excuses, dude. I'm actually, at least I hope I don't sound like I am. That's not my goal whatsoever. I'm actually just pointing out fault. I agree with you. I know. That's why I started the video with this. Let's see. You're exactly right. I was gonna say I don't want to swear because I won't get monetized, but what am I gonna get? 2 cents? They're gonna cut a penny in half for this video. It's fucking enraging, man. And this has happened my entire life where you feel relief. Oh, great, the quarterback's hurt. This should be an easy win, and then stuff like this happens. I'm happy it's only 10-0, but it shouldn't be. The amount of money they put into this team, the amount of Pro Bowlers on defense, the amount of draft picks for Zimmer to assemble this defense that he couldn't even do if he was playing Madden and had the ability to basically ignore the salary cap and trade logic and just bring in whoever he wanted. So I do expect results, and I'm not saying the defense is playing horrendously. They're not first quarter Packers bad, but the fact that I'm even using that, well, they're not as bad as they were that quarter. That should not have happened either. With the experience, the 10 of 11 starters coming back, with the 11th being a guy that was just gone for a year and otherwise was familiar with the defense. So I'm not totally not making excuses. I agree with you. I've actually said this on Morning Joe's a lot this offseason. If Cousins doesn't produce, all the excuses are gone. The offensive line, they invested in it, even if it's not the greatest offensive line in the world. Look at what. Not a great example considering how the game went the other night, but Aaron Rodgers, I wrote an article about Aaron Rodgers not being Aaron Rodgers anymore. Aaron Rodgers in the concept of this elite Tom Brady-esque or better than Tom Brady, if you ask Tom Brady, who is obviously just being humble and probably fishing for compliments. But in that article, I looked at the rankings of the offensive lines he's had since 2010, and only one of those wasn't in the mid-20s, and that was when they were the 11th best pass-protecting offensive line 3-4 years ago. So that's not an excuse either, but the line, that's not the problem here. I'm not saying it is, but even if it were to be, it's no more excuses, man. They invested in the offensive line. The run game obviously should have been better this offseason, I'm talking about, and is better, has been a lot better. So he needs to produce. He needs to come through. The only throw that made me feel a little bit of relief was the one to Diggs that coincidentally ended up being an interception. I'm like, oh, well, he hit him, in stride on a slant. I'll take it. And then we all saw what happened. But, yeah, they need to come out firing. They need halftime adjustments. I am sick and tired of this team, Cousins, but this team in general not showing up to big games. This game is ridiculously huge for what it means for the rest of the season. So they need to win. I mean, they're playing the backup. Hicks isn't playing. There's no excuses. They need to win. Zimmer needs to coach a better game. This defense should allow 0 points against Chase Daniels. They're just too good, or should be. So we'll see what happens. I appreciate you guys checking my show out, commenting, as Dominic just did, breaking my brain and getting me into my element, which is me being existentially depressed about life and the Vikings in general. Hopefully I'll be back after the game and not sitting in some alley somewhere just firing up a purple meth rock. So we'll see what happens. I hope you guys will consider coming to the live chat so we can all despair together. That's on both purpleptsd.com and vikingsterritory.com. Also, again, I wrangled a cool event with Chad Greenway this upcoming Friday, at McDonald's Liquor near Lake Nokomis. It's 5010 34th Avenue. If you could RSVP to that, that'd be great. You don't necessarily need to, but we're doing a ton of cool raffles, giveaways every day, building up to it. Some great Vikings blankets that are really cool. I have one. And then during the event, there'll be beer to taste, wine to taste, liquor to taste, some cool Vikings merch and memorabilia to either win or bid on. And you'll get to meet Chad Greenway and taste his awesome vodka. So I'll see you guys after the game, and I appreciate everything. Yeah, Dominic? Sorry. Maybe I haven't using that pipe. Yeah, I was trying to allude to that too. This team crumbles in big games. It always has. I mean, that's the whole thing behind Purple PTSD being founded in 98, 2001, 2009, 2017. What I forget, 88 was it? In the other NFC championship game they lost, I was like 2 years old at the time. But yeah, Zimmer gets outclassed by offensive-minded coaches in big games. We saw that last year. We saw that, really since the second half of that Saints game. It was a once-in-a-lifetime play that bailed them out there. They got destroyed against the Eagles. But see, I already did my outro. But I appreciate you, man. I think you and I think very similarly. I would love it if you came to the live chat or joined our message board so you and I could become best friends. That's really the goal of all this. I'm trapped in a basement and I need friends. But yeah, I'll see you guys after the game. Hopefully they turn it around. Skull, I guess.